Tonight, loan relief for tariff impacts, the federal program for Canadian metals amid uncertainty about a trade agreement.
We were reading this announcement today very concerned that there is no deal coming at all.
Plus, a fatal start to motorcycle season.
It was really loud, like bikes just flying.
Safety warnings after a deadly crash in southwest London. And building a community within a community.
We're going to have a recreation facility here. We're going to have long-term care facility. There's a space for a new school and over 20 acres of housing.
Ingersoll's approach to urban growth becoming a reality.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with an announcement in Ottawa and a $1 billion loan program for businesses impacted by American tariffs. With more on how these loans will work and who will benefit, here's Mike LeCouture.
For 14 months, steel, aluminum, and copper companies have been trying not to fold under the pressure of punishing tariffs from the U.S. It's been tough for companies like Bow, which makes dump bodies for dump trucks.
90% of what we manufacture crosses the border. So for us, what's happening is really critical to our business.
And many are hoping for an end to the trade war, but even senior cabinet ministers can't say if or when that will be.
You don't know, I don't know. So this is not up to us to answer that question because these decisions will be taken south of our border.
It's why the federal government is announcing a new $1 billion loan program for companies affected by the tariffs. The 3-year loans will be worth between $2 and $50 million, with the first year being interest-free.
Short term, our goal is to provide liquidities to companies in order for them to keep their workers.
Conservatives say loans aren't the answer.
We were reading this announcement today very concerned that there is no deal coming at all, and the Liberals have said nothing to the contrary.
Canada's Auditor General hasn't seen details of this loan program, but in 2024, Karen Hogan's report was critical of pandemic-era business loans, saying those programs lacked value for money. And she hopes that mistake isn't repeated.
So I would expect that any loan program would have a goal and an objective, and that the government would set itself out at the beginning, at the start, as they design this, to have a way to measure value for money and outcomes for Canadians.
The government says there will be a process and scope for approving the loans with additional follow-up. Minister Joly added the government is working on similar relief for the forestry and softwood lumber sectors. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
London's mayor says today's announcement is an important first step as the city endures the highest unemployment rate in the country. With more on the local impact, here's Daryl Newcomb.
I got to commend the federal government for listening and taking action on this, and this is the kind of thing that we do when we advocate regionally and we work together.
Mayor Josh Morgan believes a recent meeting by southwestern Ontario mayors has reached the ears of the federal government. The mayors committed to maintain their infrastructure and capital plans despite U.S. tariffs and urged the senior levels of government to strengthen their partnerships with municipalities as well as help maintain and create jobs.
The steel, aluminum, and copper sectors are key.
A two-part federal announcement is meant to soften the blow of U.S. tariffs. It offers support to Canada's metal sector, as well as $500 million that will be distributed by regional development agencies, including in southwestern Ontario. Morgan believes London and region will benefit from both.
It's a first step, and it's an important step. And copper is very important to the City of London, with companies like Great Lakes Copper employing a good number of people here.
The mayor adds that small and mid-sized enterprises in the region will get help adjusting to the current trade realities.
They may get support retooling, retraining, refocusing, because we know that we want to keep those jobs.
The most recent data from Statistics Canada, released in early April, painted a gloomy picture locally. London had the highest unemployment rate in Canada, 9.1%. Other cities in southwestern Ontario are not far behind, but Morgan expresses a belief that local industries being impacted by tariffs are showing flexibility and resilience.
Stabilization in international trade relationships would be the best possible thing for this region. So the other thing I hear from local businesses is, although they're going through a tough time now, although there have been layoffs, they're positioning themselves as best they possibly can, and they're seizing opportunities to look to other and new markets.
Morgan adds that all levels of government will need to quickly react and evolve as the trade environment continues to change. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
With elevated gas prices, the cost of summer recreation is going up. With more on the impact for outdoor fun in the months ahead, here's Sean Irvin.
With everything from RVs to full-size trailers on the lot outside, this couple is on the inside of Can-Am RV getting an overview of their newly purchased home away from home. Debbie and Yves Goslin wanted something compact they could pull to the Northwest Territories.
We've just retired earlier this year, and this will be our first trip in freedom. We're going to save a whole bunch on hotel accommodations that we would have to pay for if we didn't have this trailers.
The Goslins say the ability to tow their new trailer with their small SUV was one consideration in their purchase, alongside the price of fuel.
Because we wanted to be able to pull it with a vehicle that you can drive the rest of the year that's not costing you an arm and a leg every time you go out in it.
It's a comment that staff at Can-Am RV have heard from customers with thick and thin wallets.
We see trade-ins of larger motorhomes on the smaller ones, maybe to mitigate that.
For some high-end RV owners, fuel prices might not be a worry, but for others, especially families on a budget, lightweight options are attractive.
We have customers that tow with four-cylinder vehicles with that trailer because it's aerodynamic and light as well.
But high gas prices are also having an impact on other types of recreational vehicles, including boats, ATVs, and motorcycles. Certainly, some boats require plenty of gas, but staff at Holly Golly in London report that most buyers find it's worth the price.
The impact of gas, even though it's something they think about as they get to the dock, it's not something that is a direct reason why they wouldn't choose boating as a lifestyle.
And while some four-wheeled and two-wheeled recreation options are designed for fun, others, including new electric street-legal bikes, prove to be big gas savers over commuting with cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Gas hasn't been a direct reason why people are choosing not to buy, but it is a quick indicator on people thinking about riding a motorcycle as a reason for the potential gas savings on it.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Good evening. Perhaps that story had you thinking about vacationing and the beautiful weather that we had today going hand in hand. Although temperatures across the region climbing into the low 20s, upper teens today, temperatures are about to take a bit of a dive. We do have a cold front once again that'll be coming through our area as we head into tomorrow with a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Right now in London, 21 degrees, Midwestern Ontario 19 to 20. It's gusty winds out of the southwest this evening that will continue, and we're starting to see a few pop-up showers in and around Point Pelee and Kingsville toward Essex County. The rest of the region holding on to that sunshine, but starting to see a bit of high cloud move in. Coming up, I'll take you through the forecast. The cold front coming in will spark scattered showers and thunderstorms later this evening and overnight and into tomorrow. I'll have that for you coming up in just a few minutes. Carlyle.
Thank you, Julie. Middlesex OPP say they're investigating a fatal crash involving a cyclist. They say it happened on Melbourne Road, southwest of Strathroy. A bicycle could be seen in the ditch. Police say the crash happened over the noon hour, closing a stretch of Melbourne Road for the police investigation. They provided no details on the other vehicle involved or what caused the collision. Police say they are withholding the victim's identity pending next of kin notification. One person was killed in a motorcycle crash this past weekend. It happened in London's southwest just as the new riding season picks up. With more, here's Lauren Stallone.
It was really loud, like bikes just flying.
London police are investigating a motor vehicle crash that has left one person dead. Investigators say the collision happened here at the intersection of Colonel Talbot Road and Outer Drive on Sunday afternoon. Nearby residents say speeding in the area has become an all too familiar issue, noting the intersection sits just off Highway 402.
There's a lot of speeding, definitely is, because it comes off the highway, so there's people used to the speeds, the high speeds. I do see a lot of people speeding here, It's unfortunate.
Heather Carey with Fanshawe Corporate Solutions, a division of Fanshawe College that provides motorcycle training courses, says this is the most popular season for riders.
A lot of young people love to ride motorcycles. So not only do we have to make stronger riders, we also have to remind drivers to be safe, keep watching for the riders out there.
She says for motorcyclists, wearing appropriate safety gear can help reduce the risk of collisions.
We recommend full body coverage, so no wearing your shorts, flip-flops, short sleeve shirts and t-shirts.
Carey also urges riders to avoid traveling during dawn or dusk.
Just because of the sun setting or rising, mists that can be out there due to the change of weather seasons that way. So those are the riskiest times.
As for drivers, experts say following the rules of the road is the best way to prevent collisions.
All of that, I think, will increase safety and it will for the awareness that we need to be on the roads.
Meanwhile, investigators are asking anyone who was in the area and may have witnessed the collision or who has dash cam footage to contact police. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
A coroner's inquest got underway today, looking into the death of a Sarnia man who was fatally shot here in London by police 5 years ago. With more from day one of the proceedings, here's Nick Paparella.
An inquest jury heard how a break-in investigation turned deadly after 2 London police officers were looking for suspects in the Mill and St. George Streets area in the early morning hours of October 28, 2021. They mistakenly suspected 29-year-old Justin Barassa of Sarnia, and an altercation ensued once they tried to arrest and handcuff him. As Barassa placed one of the officers in a chokehold, the other one shot him. Weeks later, the province's Special Investigations Unit cleared the 2 constables of any wrongdoing. At the start of the inquest, Barassa's mother, Lorraine, made an opening address describing her son as having a kind and gentle demeanor. And when they got the news of his death, she said, "It felt like we were in a horror movie, one that we never chose to be a part of." She added, "The grief is constant, and his absence is felt every single moment." In a narrative read into the inquest, the jury heard more about Barassa's background. He was a former tennis pro who had some mental health struggles, and his parents had sought help for him. On October 2, 2021, Justin was suspended as a member of the Sarnia Tennis Club, and at some point that fall, Justin began living outdoors in a tent. Although he never had a criminal record, he did have physical interactions with police in other jurisdictions while out riding his bicycle. Just weeks before the London shooting, during an arrest, it read, according to the officer, Justin allegedly yelled, "Do you do jiu-jitsu? I do jiu-jitsu. Try and throw me. Come on, throw me." The first witness called was Dr. Edward Tweedy, a forensic pathologist who examined Barassa's body. He found no drugs or alcohol in his system and concluded the wound was close range, saying the cause of death was a gunshot wound to the neck and chest. The jury is expected to make recommendations to help prevent further similar incidents. The inquest is slated to last until May 12th. Nick Paparella, CTV News.
A judge is set to determine whether a violent criminal with dozens of convictions across southwestern Ontario should be sentenced as a dangerous offender. He was found guilty of shooting his then partner in 2023, leaving her paralyzed, and she spoke with Brent Lail about the punishment she hopes he receives.
I was shot 3 times in the back and left paralyzed, waiting for help for about 3 hours.
Paige Havel remembers the flash of the gun, then being unable to move.
I was screaming for help. Nobody heard me.
It was May 16th, 2023, in a St. Thomas apartment when Havel and her then romantic partner got into an argument. She was shot and left in a pool of her own blood. She had broken bones, a collapsed lung, and a severed spinal cord.
My injury is complete, so I'm going to be like this till the day I die.
James Alexander Brown then took off, and after being chased around the city, He was apprehended. He was charged with 4 offenses, including attempted murder. At the time, Chief Mark Roskamp said this of Brown, who had 61 prior convictions.
This individual is a prolific offender, and we are glad he is in custody.
18 months later, he was convicted by a jury of the lesser charge of discharging a firearm with intent to wound and possession of a loaded, restricted firearm. In the coming weeks, a judge will decide whether James Brown is considered a dangerous offender. He could possibly face an indeterminate sentence. It's what Paige is hoping for.
The lesser sentence could be like maybe 8 years, but the crappy thing about that is so when you're in prison or waiting court, you get time served taken off, so he would get 3 years taken off, and so that wouldn't leave a whole lot of sentence.
With no accessible apartments available in St. Thomas, she's been staying at an assisted living facility in northeast London. She describes it as tough, living with people more than twice her age, many with mental health issues.
I'm reliant on staff to get me in and out of bed, to get me dressed, showered, and like basic things people take for granted.
And while Brown's future is unclear, Havel knows hers.
I believe James took away my future. I'm in prison and I don't get parole.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Provincial police say they've arrested a man from St. Thomas, charging him with 2 separate shooting incidents in London. According to OPP, 39-year-old Dennis Lee Churchill was arrested last week in Vienna, north of Port Burwell. They say he was involved in a targeted shooting near Commissioners in Highbury last June. London police say they've also charged him after shots were fired near West Lions Park last month. No injuries were reported in either incident. The 51st Blythe Festival season is getting underway, and the first production hitting the stage tells the story of a highly contentious labor dispute in Huron County, which had national implications for Canadian women in the workplace. Scott Miller reports.
Welcome, everyone, to the 2026 season of the Blythe Festival.
Gil Garrett kicks off day 1 of rehearsals for the 51st season of the Blythe Festival.
This is such an exciting time of year. We have all the artists arriving in town. Every room in the building is buzzing.
The first play to hit the Blythe stage is ripped from the Huron County headlines. Back in 1978, 80 employees, mostly women, went on strike at Fleck Manufacturing in Centralia and ultimately changed Canadian labor law and how Canadian women were treated in the workplace.
If you're under 48, you never heard of it. And probably a few older than that, too.
Mary Lou O'Brien was one of the 80 striking Fleck workers. She says atrocious working conditions and incredibly low wages led the Fleck workers to strike. At its peak, more than 400 OPP officers were brought in to arrest some of the picketers. O'Brien says intimidation was rampant against the almost entirely female crew of picketers.
One night at home, I got a phone call and they threatened my life and said I would die the next morning on the picket line. But I went anyway.
5 months after hitting the picket line, the workers' first collective agreement was ultimately signed. Ontario labor laws and workplace standards were changed as a result of the Fleck strike.
This is really one of the first strikes where the United Auto Workers, in this case, had to consider what the specific issues were affecting women in the workplace. And so it really opened up a conversation about that for the first time in Canada.
This is what Blythe does best. We are taking a local story, a story that has had a huge impact, not just on our local community, but also on the region, on the province, on the country, and we are putting it center stage.
O'Brien says she is so happy to see Sisters of 78 turned into a play for people to see and learn about, an important piece of local and national history.
We changed the labor laws for the country.
Sisters of 78 opens at the Blythe Festival Theatre June 12th. In Blythe, Scott Miller, CTV News.
When we come back, a keynote address to European leaders, the Prime Minister's message overseas about the future of international relations. Plus, a bleak travel season on the horizon, with the price of fuel and inflation mean for Canada's summer tourism outlook.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. The Prime Minister announced more military aid for Ukraine today as he addressed the European Political Community Summit in Armenia, the first ever non-EU leader to do so. With more on Mark Carney's message, here's Graham Richardson.
I began the meeting.
Prime Minister Mark Carney announced more aid for Ukraine's war with Russia, another $270 million.
You have all of Canada behind you, standing with the people of Ukraine.
Bringing Canada's total contributions to the war to over $25 billion. The munitions for Ukraine will come from the United States, despite pressure because of the Iran war. Carney says the Americans will be able to meet Ukraine's needs.
It's a question of financing and getting them there. We're doing that. We're getting them there. That's the first point. Second, we had made a commitment earlier this year in February, $2.4 billion for Ukraine, Canadian. So this is part of that overall commitment. We're continuing to provide it. It's part of a bigger puzzle in a conflict where Ukraine is gaining some advantage.
Carney is the first non-European leader to be invited here. The European political community was established after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022.
It's my strong personal view that as the international order will be rebuilt, but it will be rebuilt out of Europe.
Antonio Costa is the president of the European Council. He says Carney's Davos speech, where he called on like-minded countries to band together in uncertain times, is part of the reason Carney was invited here.
Canada is one of the closest countries in the world to Europe. It's the most like-minded country, and we share a same vision of the world.
This is the Spanish national
Yes. This was a short visit with just under 30 hours on the ground in Armenia. Despite some criticism from opposition, Carney says this kind of direct engagement is critical for Canada.
The importance of alliances with reliable partners, deepening those alliances has become ever more so.
This deeper connection between Canada and Europe will continue. Mark Carney has the G7 coming up in the south of France in June. He was also asked to speak to the European Parliament sometime in the future, which he immediately agreed to. Graham Richardson, CTV News, Yerevan, Armenia.
A new survey suggests many Canadians are considering cutting back on travel this summer, and not just because of the increased price of flying. Road trips are becoming more costly, which, as Adrian Gobriel reports, could be a problem for domestic tourism.
While some cross-border travel may be taking a back seat this summer, Canadians are also steering their road trip plans in a different direction. This study released by the Tire and Rubber Association of Canada shares that 66% of Canadians say high gas prices are prompting them to cancel or limit their road trips this summer.
Is there any way you can give me a discount? Gas is really expensive. We have to travel 3 hours or 2 hours.
There's also early indicators that the painful price at the pumps may be affecting summer vacation rentals. Peter Guntunis rents out 2 sprawling 8-bedroom lodges 2 hours north of Toronto near Blue Mountain. Each place sleeps up to 20 people. In years past, he had little to no summer vacancy. This year shaping up to be a different story.
Usually we are booked by now, and now the challenge is trying to book up summer, which is the prime time.
Do you believe that the price of gas is changing consumer habits, especially at your rental property?
So we used to have vacancy, and other cottages up there have this vacancies as well, which is kind of strange. So for sure, people are not traveling. It's expensive.
What is your big concern here?
My concern is not being fully booked. We count on being booked the whole year. You know, Blue Mountain, for example, is a 4-season accommodation place. They have events going on all the time, and if we can't fill up those dates, it's not good.
Peter Guntunis tells us if his bookings don't start filling up soon, he could be out tens of thousands of dollars. One other observation he shared is that historically guests would arrive in up to 10 vehicles for his 20-person chalets. They're now coming in about 4 cars as they carpool and try and save money at the gas station. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Mississauga, Ontario.
Julie's on the desk with me now on a day where a lot of people will be thinking about cottage country and maybe by the beach, but unfortunately this is not going to stick around for very long for the rest of this week.
No, temperatures are going to cool off, but I did want to briefly mention April. So many people talking about how cold it was, and although we did have some cool nights, our temperatures actually averaged a bit above normal.
That does surprise me.
So yes, it is a bit surprising for sure, and our rainfall was right on where we typically are. So in terms of those daytime highs, I know it has felt so cool. I think the timing has really been crucial with our unsettled conditions falling on the weekend. So the perception of that, of course, is that the entire month has not been great. Now, in terms of our high today, 21 degrees, our low temperature +8. We should be at about 16 this time of year. So coming in above today, winds out of the south-southwest, and it has been windy. Now, unfortunately, today was a one-off in terms of the rest of our forecast this week. We do have some showers on the way, and we'll have a cold front coming into the area tomorrow morning with a chance of some rainfall, and that will linger into the afternoon. So we are starting to see a little bit of instability bubbling up in through Michigan. It's crossed over the border, and we do have some light rainfall. I mentioned areas like Point Pelee and Essex County picking up some rain. London still holding on to lots of sunshine, but the chance for showers will increase as we head through the late evening and overnight. We do have some snowfall and some warnings in effect near this area of low pressure just southwest of James Bay, and they're expecting upwards of 15 to 25 centimeters of snow. We have some flurries across the southern prairies, but where it's feeling quite summer-like is in western Canada, and we'll get to those temperatures in just a minute. There's your snowfall warning that's in effect, and other than that, things are quiet for us in southern Ontario tonight, with the exception of the potential of some thunderstorms. So and we'll go from quiet to perhaps some rumbles of thunder. Temperatures overnight, 11 degrees in the city, Midwestern Ontario from 4 to 9. So there's that warmth I was mentioning, especially in through the interior of British Columbia, a bit cooler as we get into Alberta, and then some flurries in through the southern prairies. 10 degrees in Thunder Bay, but north of that 10 is where temperatures are much cooler and where that cold air is bringing some snowfall. So heading through this evening, you can see a little bit of instability, possibility of a storm pushing through Huron County, and then the chance of showers overnight. Waking up tomorrow morning to overcast conditions with showers developing as we head into the afternoon, and some rainfall into the evening. The greatest chance for rain will come along that northern shoreline of Lake Erie. As we head towards Huron, Perth, Grey, Bruce, you'll see mainly cloudy conditions with sunny breaks. So south of that, a fairly solid deck of cloud cover, and then that rain along the northern shoreline of Lake Erie. Temperature not quite as warm tomorrow as it was today, although right where we should be for this time of year. We'll take the high to 15 degrees, but the wind shifting to the northwest as we head later in the day will usher in the colder conditions heading into Wednesday. Showers will linger, although the probability just a 40% chance. So not an all-day rain Tuesday or Wednesday. Tuesday, the chance of rain will continue through the day. The greatest risk will come in the afternoon. And then on Wednesday, just a 40% chance of showers, but cool at 11. Thursday, mainly sunny and 13, and then the chance of showers Friday and Saturday before clearing just in time for Mother's Day under a mix of sun and cloud and 16 degrees. So when you put all those temperatures together, we will average close to normal for this time in May. And in terms of our showers on and off, we'll get some sunny days in there as well. Midwestern Ontario through the day tomorrow, peaks of sunshine, especially towards Grey and Bruce County. Huron and Perth northern areas, you'll see cloudy with sunny breaks. South of that line, the chance for showers and temperatures close to normal. Wednesday will be cooler at just 10 degrees, and you still have some cool nights in your forecast at +1 as we head into Thursday morning and a Friday. Thursday looks like a beauty day across the region with lots of sunshine, and then heading into the weekend, unsettled Friday and Saturday, Carlyle, but looks like Mother's Day will deliver a bit of sunshine out there with a mix of sun and cloud and just a 30% chance of showers.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Coming up on CTV News, high caffeine intake and the health risks that come with it. Concern for teenagers consuming energy drinks.
This Thursday, we are headed to Beer Kitchen for our first ever Look-alike competition. We have just announced the 5 finalists for our Luke Combs Look-alike contest. You can find those at purecountry93.ca and join us this Thursday, and you could be walking away a winner as well.
Home sales remained steady across the region last month. According to the London and St. Thomas Realtors Association, 638 homes sold in April compared to 586 in March. That's about 6.5% lower compared to April of last year, though. Elstar officials say the region's average sale price dropped to about $620,000. That number was about $630,000 in March. New research on energy drinks is raising concerns over how much caffeine they contain and the health impact for young people. As Pat Foran reports, some of them contain much more than the recommended daily intake and sometimes have more than their labels indicate.
Energy drinks are colorful, sweet, and hugely popular with young people, now an important warning for parents. A new Consumer Reports investigation finds what's inside those drinks may be more than you're bargaining for. Energy drinks are everywhere these days. Many of them look like sports hydration drinks and taste like candy.
They have flavors like Jolly Rancher flavor and sour gummy worms. It's so easy to just pop open a cold can and chug it.
But inside that can is often a jolt of caffeine that can be far from harmless. Researchers found many drinks contain 2 to 3 times the daily caffeine limit recommended for teens, which is 100 milligrams. Too much caffeine has been linked to insomnia, anxiety, jitters, and heart-related symptoms, and teens may be especially vulnerable. To find out exactly what's in these drinks, Consumer Reports tested 23 popular energy drinks and shots.
We wanted to see how much caffeine is actually in the product.
The results, most drinks came close to or matched their labels, but some had up to 16% more caffeine than advertised. The American Beverage Association, an industry trade group, says parents should be in the driver's seat when it comes to what their children have for beverages. So what can parents do? Check labels, track total caffeine from all sources, and pay attention to sleep, because using caffeine to fight fatigue can create a cycle that's hard to break. The bottom line, when it comes to energy drinks and teens, even one can be too much. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index lost more than 250 points today. Meanwhile, in New York, the Dow lost 557. The Nasdaq dropped 47. The Canadian dollar down 1/5 cent today. On commodity markets, gold fell more than $110 an ounce. Oil gained about $4.50 a barrel. Still ahead, the final chapter for Hudson's Bay. What does the future hold for the iconic brand's vacant retail space?
I'm Chief Tai Trung. I've been in policing for 25 years. As a young officer 25 years ago, I dealt with trauma internal. I relied upon my friends, I relied upon my family, people that I trusted, and that's how I dealt with trauma, just speaking to people that were close to me. Let's fast forward 25 years later from that. Now, police officers are understanding and accepting trauma in a way that was very different 25 years ago. I was with York Regional Police. We lost one of our officers, Constable Travis Gillespie, and I was in a leadership role at that time, and I saw the impact with my officers and the team that worked with Travis really closely, and the whole policing profession. So I saw that impact. I saw the impact on Travis's family. Tough. So for me, coming to London and hearing and connecting with our officers and our police association and just hearing the challenges that our officers go through from a leadership level, for me, it's a point where you have a responsibility to do better. So with our first gala, there were 2 charities chosen. So I chose CMHA, their crisis stabilization space, really specifically because of the stigma that's still attached to law enforcement and first responders who are going through challenges and crisis. Very common here in our city, where our officers will encounter people that they've dealt with on many different occasions, and often negative situations. So it stops our officers from seeking help. So this is why it's very important that this is the charity that we chose, because it allows our officers to seek help and have psychological safety.
Local leaders in Ingersoll say work is now getting underway on a project meant to spur growth. It's happening in the shadow of a major economic loss after General Motors shut down the Kami assembly plant. With more on Ingersoll's community campus, here's Brian Bicknell.
Located in Ingersoll's southeast end along the north side of Highway 401 and fronting onto Clark Road, this field of dreams is set to become Ingersoll's newest living space.
We're going to have a recreation facility here. We're going to have long-term care facility. There's a space for a new school and over 20 acres of housing.
Mayor Brian Petrie says after more than a decade in the making, work is now underway on the Ingersoll community campus.
Well, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Our rec center is over 70 years old. It's time. We have to replace it. And so having this opportunity to do it out here with the benefits of collaboration with the school board for a school and long-term care and housing to create that complete community.
The project is in part the result of the town acquiring 30 acres of land from Growbrook Farms, including a major donation.
The town approached us that they're looking for 30 acres of recreational space. That was what really intrigued us, and we thought, hey, that's about half the farm, and that we thought would be great to have that beside us, but also to give back to the community.
This access road is nice because then the project includes a new $37 million multi-use center, a seniors care community, a public school, future housing, and open space. The cost to service the land is $52 million. Infrastructure Director Matt Sweetland says there's been no project quite like it in Ingersoll.
The town has in the past developed industrial subdivisions, so this one is more unique where it's involved residential works and community works.
I think we're going to grow sort of slightly above the average. We've got good services. We've got, literal physical services. We've got good capacities, and you're seeing some others that are running out of that capacity.
Officials say the community campus will take several years to build out. Ground will be broken on the rec center this spring with an opening date set for 2028. Brian Bicknell, CTV News, Ingersoll.
Executives in the federal public service are now expected back in the office 5 days a week, starting today. The Treasury Board announced the changes for remote work back in February. All other employees are required in the office 4 days a week, starting July 6th. The rules only apply to public servants in core departments and agencies under the Treasury Board. However, some separate agencies, like the CRA, have indicated they will follow similar rules. Union leaders have pushed back on the mandate, with some filing unfair labor practice complaints. There are several massive retail spaces sitting vacant right now across the country after Hudson's Bay shut them down last year. IKEA is taking over one of them here in London, while others are poised for, in some cases, substantial repurposing. With more on those projects, here's Kathy Lee.
From Toronto to Ottawa to Calgary, iconic Hudson's Bay buildings are changing hands and being reimagined following the company's bankruptcy last year. This one on Stephen Avenue in Calgary is set to be turned into residential units after locally based Astra Real Estate signed a deal to buy it.
It might make it a lot more busy with all the people.
I was actually thinking this would be cool if it was a condo building.
One realtor says the downtown location makes it ideal for housing, but only if the conditions are right.
If you can do something that offers a unique aspect and it's priced affordably, that's kind of the winning combination.
A retail analyst says with Calgary's growing population, turning this former Bay building into condos could be a strong opportunity. But elsewhere in the country, owners are getting creative, filling these massive spaces.
If the property is in a marquee location, they may cut it up, divide it up, and lease it out to a few other retailers.
In Ottawa, a company has reached a deal to buy this former Hudson's Bay, but hasn't decided what to do with it yet. And at this closed Toronto location, a proposal to transform most of it into a self-storage facility has people divided.
It's definitely an interesting location for storage, but I think a lot of people downtown need storage.
I think it's the wrong location.
Property owners say it's been difficult to repurpose buildings like these, citing market conditions conditions, a change in big retail, and building constraints.
The department stores it's sunsetted, and we just don't need the same space. And that's why it's been tougher for landlords to fill this space.
A shift many landlords are now navigating. But at least for this space in Calgary,
might be a nice change to what we have down here.
It's one step closer to having a new purpose. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Thank you to all of our CTV viewers sending in gorgeous spring photographs. This one comes to us from Woodstock. Thank you so much, Diane. Heading into tonight, showers with a risk of thunderstorms and temperatures on the cool side as we move through the week.
Officials with Iran's Navy say they've prevented American warships from entering the Strait of Hormuz, hitting one of them with a pair of missiles. However, American authorities dispute that, saying no Navy ships have been struck. The Iranians had warned U.S. forces not to enter the waterway earlier today after President Donald Trump vowed to get shipping traffic moving again, guiding stranded ships out of the strait. According to the International Maritime Organization, about 20,000 crew members on roughly 2,000 stranded ships have been stuck in the strait since the war started in February. Meanwhile, Iranian authorities say they've received a U.S. response to their latest peace proposal, which is now under review. However, they're also accusing American officials of complicating the diplomatic process to end the war. No details of the U.S. response were released, and no American authorities have confirmed they issued a reply.
Aujourd'hui, je regarde la situation. Si les États-Unis veulent réouvrir, sont prêts à réouvrir Hormuz.
Meanwhile, the French president is urging Iran and the U.S. to make a joint effort to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Emmanuel Macron says it's the only solution to permanently unblock ships. He also reiterated that France would not take part in any operation using force. A cruise ship is on lockdown off the coast of Northwest Africa in the midst of a deadly virus outbreak. Several people have fallen ill, 3 of whom have died. John Venevali Rao has more on the concern and the uncertainty.
Deck 4 is where the lobby is.
In a video posted at the start of the voyage, an American travel blogger took his followers on a tour of the cruise ship, now stuck, unable to dock and to unload passengers amid a suspected hantavirus outbreak.
And what's happening right now is very real for all of us here.
In a new, tearful video, the blogger talks about the fears on board after 3 passengers died.
There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part.
Among the 149 on the ship are 4 Canadians, currently anchored off the coast of the capital of Cabo Verde, where officials won't allow the cruise ship to dock to, quote, protect public health.
It's one of those diseases that at the moment there's no specific treatment to cure the disease after someone becomes infected, and there isn't also a vaccine available to prevent people from getting infected.
The ship was on a cruise from Argentina and stopping at remote islands in the South Atlantic. 3 weeks ago, a 70-year-old Dutch passenger died, and after leaving the ship, so did his wife. Then a British man evacuated to this hospital in South Africa tested positive for hantavirus. And a 3rd German passenger died on Saturday. 2 crew members still on board also have acute respiratory symptoms and will be removed for medical care. Hantaviruses are rare, mainly transmitted through contact with rodents or their droppings. It's what killed the wife of actor Gene Hackman last year. Symptoms can take weeks to appear, and human-to-human transmission is not common.
So it's very rare for hantaviruses. In fact, the only hantaviruses that are known to cause human-to-human transmission originate from South America, and in particular areas like Argentina.
In a statement, a WHO official stressed the risk to the wider public remains low. There is no need for panic or travel restrictions.
Meanwhile, experts say there are only on average about 4 to 5 cases of hantavirus in Canada each year, typically linked to rodent exposures in rural parts of the western provinces. John Venevali Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
An approaching plane clipped a truck this weekend as it was arriving at an airport near a freeway. The plane was coming in for landing at about 240 kilometers an hour. Investigators say it also struck a street light before it hit the truck. The person driving the truck escaped the whole ordeal without serious injury. Officials with United Airlines say none of the 210 people on board were hurt, and the plane continued to the gate normally. The National Transportation Safety Board is now investigating. Pope Leo is expected to meet with the American Secretary of State this week in the wake of President Donald Trump's criticism. According to a source in the Vatican, the meeting is meant to thaw relations between the Catholic leader and the U.S. government. The Pope has recently spoken out on global conflicts and political leaders, including a sharp critique of the Trump administration.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Welcome back. BMO held its annual Walk So Kids Can Talk fundraiser this weekend supporting Kids Help Phone. It was one of several events across the country, bringing in millions of dollars.
Is really about creating awareness. It's about breaking the stigma when it comes to mental health and supporting our youth.
3.9 million. Thank you, everyone.
We're the only national network that is free 24/7, available in over 100 languages for children. No matter where they are in life, we're always there to support them. So today is incredible that we can come across together, 16 sites, and raise such vital funds to support children from coast to coast to coast.
In Canada, 1 in 2 youth say they're dealing with mental health challenges alone. Kids Help Phone exists for these kids.
We have e-mental health services online. We have prices across the whole country. It's programs. We have counselor in the classroom. So we really are trying to meet the needs of our youth who benefit from our programs.
And finally tonight, hundreds of people packed Dundas Place Saturday for Free Comic Book Day. People waited in line for more than an hour in some cases, waiting to get their hands on the free merch.
The energy, the fun, the free comics, obviously, but it's just a chance to get out and hang out with other nerds, really. Like, I've got friends from Oshawa that are coming down just because London does it up right. It's just fun to dress up and, show off your love for the fandom or the specific character.
It's totally a celebration of comics, and it's family friendly, right? It brings people downtown, and it's something to do and fill the street, and you'll get $5 just for showing up. We do donations for the London Food Drive and for one of our employees whose apartment burned down last month. So we're giving away 2 comics for that. You'll come away with a handful of comics.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.